I'd say the main reason people should come see Hello World is first and foremost, it's a fundraiser. We're trying to save the theaters in the North Hollywood Arts District. And as I mentioned, and we all know, it's been a really tough year and a few months, and many of them have lost their spaces. Many of them are still hesitant to open, and that's very understandable. So first and foremost, it's to help theaters as much as we can. Secondly, it's just to remember that, theater is a thing to experience, and it's a place that we can go and be safe and with both our emotions and our feelings, and to be able to express ourselves and to watch somebody else express ourselves. And I think the other big reason why people should go see Hello World is because these actors have worked very hard to bring something to life, and they waited like a year and a half. This is more than a kid at Christmas time to be able to get back on stage and do their art. And the directors have just had probably visions bottled up for so long that they're now able to share on stage. And, we writers are a little lucky because plague or no plague, we're always writing, we're always creating. And yes, we do want our stuff realized, but we're okay waiting a little bit, especially us writers who submit all the time. It might be years before something we wrote gets realized on stage. But actors, their job is to act, and as great as Zoom has been as the filler, there's nothing better for them to be on stage doing their craft. And you can just tell from the reviews that we've gotten, these actors are just so happy to be back that the energy they're exuding is infectious. Hi, I'm Thomas J. Misuraca, and if you'd like to hear more about the Hello World One-Act Play Festival at Write Act Repertory Theatre, please watch this video. So the idea for Hello World came from sitting down with John Lant and Annie Mesa and discussing what we wanted to do for our first show back. They'd asked me if I had any scripts or any ideas that I wanted to bring to the stage. And I have, as most writers, that drawer full of full-length plays that I had suggested. And the more we talked about it, the more we felt that perhaps a night of one acts was something that people would feel a little bit more comfortable coming into, being many of them, this would be their first return to theater. It would be a shorter evening. We'd do about 6, so keep it about an hour. We even opted to have an intermission, which I know sounds a little strange for such a short piece, but we just figure so nobody feels claustrophobic sitting in a chair for an hour. They can get up after half an hour and stretch their legs and walk outside, get some air, get a glass of wine to make the next bit funnier. And then as for the specific plays, it started with me thinking, okay, we need to have plays that are easily produced, that don't have too many people, that are going to, be staged with pretty much ease. So that's where I went in, but I think the subconscious kicked in, and I feel that the plays that I selected all sort of have to do, even though only one of them you could ever say is a COVID play, a couple of them became COVID plays, and a lot of them just have to do with kind of appreciating the now, which I think is why I feel that this series of one acts is important, because I think it will help people maybe to look a little bit to this side of what they should be appreciating rather than what they've been seeing straight on all these months. The play opens with Button, which has to do with a couple of workers who are doing the same task day in and day out, and they begin to question why they're doing this task and what happens if they don't do it. The second play is called Backing Out, and that's about a family who's trying to back out of the sister-in-law's driveway and having a very difficult time of it, but they're learning that maybe it doesn't matter where they are as long as they're together. The third play is Cocktail Party. That's actually one of the only ones that has been produced out elsewhere. It's a multi-award winning play, and it's about a gentleman who invites a business contact to a cocktail party filled with people who are a little less than animated. And the fourth play after our intermission is What's Different, and that is a couple of people who haven't seen each other in a long time trying to figure out what has changed with the other person. The fifth play is voiceover, and that is dealing with first dates and perhaps how an actor would go on a first date. And the final play is Goodbye Cruel World, and that is a family is on a trip of a lifetime. The good thing about Hello World production is I get to work with four magnificent directors. Sebastian Munoz is the first person I've worked with. He's produced and directed and starred in a great deal of my work around Los Angeles. He is directing Goodbye Cruel World, and he's brought a wonderful vision to it. Annie Mesa, who's producing the show, is also directing Cocktail Party, which I think is fantastic because Cocktail Party is probably my most beloved piece. I love all my pieces, but this is the one that's had the most legs and been in most places and has a nice message that I've always related to. So I'm very happy that Annie Mesa has taken that. Annie Mesa has a great improv background, so she's pulled out of her actor some wonderful moments. You know, the words are all there on the page, but the reactions that she's getting from her actors is just absolutely amazing. Richard Lewis is directing Backing Out, which he's done a wonderful job of making a family unit feel like a family unit. And he's taken a very interesting spin on What's Different. And I think it makes it one of the most poignant plays of the festival. And then Darren Yarrick is directing Button, which he really brings some wonderful, I'd say, special effects to that piece, as well as voiceover, which again, I think he has a lot of fun with the stuff that's not on the page, the reaction from the characters in the scene. So I'm very happy that I get four directors to take my words and add their own vision to it and find stuff on the page that even I didn't know was there. The other wonderful part about Hello World is getting to work again with actors in the flesh without having to deal with the issues that we have with Zoom. Nobody's on mute. Everybody's speaking. Everyone's picking up cues. Everybody's finding bits of these characters. They're having time to delve into them, bringing them to life on stage. I think there's something more when you're embodying a character, moving as well as speaking. They're having so much fun with these characters. I believe I told them at Tech that these characters are now theirs. They've done a great job making them their own. And the other part, flipping the mirror, is just how wonderful it is to be in a room full of actors and getting to meet many of them. I didn't know. I've only worked with two of them before. We did auditions. We had some wonderful people show up. It was really difficult to cast the final pieces, but at the end of the day, all the right people showed up for all the right parts. And just sitting in the room and learning about people, talking about your favorite bands, talking about books you're reading, talking about plays you've seen, directors you've worked with. That's part of the wonderful stuff that theater is about, creating a family and getting to learn all about them. What I'd like the audience to get out of the Hello World show is, first of all, some entertainment, because I think it's been a year and a few months of being stuck at home. And yes, we've all found our own ways to entertain ourselves there. But I think there's nothing like being in an audience of people, seeing a story brought to life on stage, many of them with comical elements. So being able to laugh with somebody else, being able to experience a moment with somebody else. So first and foremost, I want them to have fun and have an enjoyable evening outside of the house. I want them to feel comfortable. Write Act has done everything to make sure it's a very comfortable environment for them to be in. And if they just happen to learn a little bit, as I said, I think what I want them to learn here is to kind of appreciate what's right in front of you and not worry what's up the road or somewhere else. That I think there's a lot of things that we can appreciate here and now and not worry about too much else. So when I'm sitting in the audience of the Hello World production, I have to admit that I am looking more at the audience than I am at the wonderful actors on stage. I'm splitting my time, actually, but there's nothing better than to, unfortunately, they're wearing masks, so I can't see them smiling, but you see the reaction see like the vibration in their body, that maybe they're laughing a little bit, see them engaged. And that's just wonderful to everyone has been so appreciative of this show, coming up to me afterwards saying some wonderful things about the pieces and how it spoke to them. So maybe not just in the audience, but afterwards, to hear somebody told me the other day that Cocktail Party really spoke to them because it has a lot to do with business and how to succeed in business. And he really felt that piece was something that a lesson that he'd learned in his life, and very happy that this lesson is being told in theater. So yeah, it's just wonderful to see the audience laugh, react, and talk afterwards, frankly, about what made them, what reactions they had in the show, what they took away from it. And that's just great. I'm Thomas J. Misuraca. And if you would like to come see Hello World, A Night of My One Acts, come check us out at the Brickhouse Theatre in North Hollywood.